Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. My name is Echo, and I'm your host on this episode.
I'm Taylor.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is our take. And as you can tell, today we're going to be talking about The Bad Batch Season 2. This is a Star Wars original series posted on or uploaded, or comes out on Disney Plus. Came out 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Shoot, I can't remember exactly when, but there are currently 4 episodes out right now, but we're only going to talk about the first 2. We're going to do an initial impressions because we're going to do initial and then a final. So we'll talk about the first couple episodes, talk about our thoughts, similar to every other initial impression. We'll talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we're excited to see. This one is, for me, exciting because it's new stuff, right? Like there's not any precedent for this, right? The Bad Batch in general, there's no precedent for it, so it's not like we have anything to compare it to. So anything that they do is new to us, and we're not trying to figure out if it's following the source material correctly or if it's good canon or whatever. We're just, whether it's good storytelling or bad storytelling, right? So we're gonna talk about these episodes. I will say that I rewatched the first season in preparation for this because it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I just want to start off this episode by saying that The Bad Batch might possibly be one of the best Star Wars things to come out of Disney. Like, I really liked the first season. The second season we'll talk about, and talk about whether it lives up to the first season. But like when I texted you that day, and I was like, man, I forgot how amazing this show is. I forgot about all of the character cameos and just, I don't know. I just really liked the first season, and then I enjoyed the second season. So, spoiler-free content, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do spoiler-free scores, and then we'll dive into spoilers and talk about each of the episodes. So as far as spoiler-free goes, Taylor, how did you feel about this season as opposed to the first season? Well, actually, real quick, let's get your thoughts on the first season, just because we never actually covered the first season on this show. So
yeah, this is the first time I think we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Probably to no surprise, I love all of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's animated. I love it. All the characters, the storytelling, the music, everything from the first season was just phenomenal for me. A lot of details, a lot of lore and stuff that's included, and a lot of new stuff that gets mixed in with it. And I honestly don't really have issues with pretty much anything.
I don't think I can pick out anything.
If I was going to pick one thing that's non-standard Star Wars, from like concluding the original and stuff, this probably would be my number one pick.
Yeah, it's so good. Like I completely forgot that Cad Bane was even in this.
Oh yeah.
I completely forgot about him being in this, and then when I was rewatching, I was like, "Oh my god, Cad Bane is in this! It's amazing!"
Yeah,
because Cad Bane is amazing.
He is. He's badass.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed the first season, and then rewatching it, enjoyed it even more. Like, it's such a good show. So, how did you feel about the second season, or the first 2 episodes of the second season, I should say?
Yeah. So for our first impression, honestly, it just picks right up where it left off.
Yeah,
I didn't miss a beat. It's just you're right back into the story.
Yeah, I would agree. There's obviously some differences here and there, and to me, they're just indicative of it being a new season
progression.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a slight time jump. They don't actually say how long, but I'm guessing it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3 to 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But you can tell things are different, but it still feels like the Bad Batch. It still feels like the same story that we were watching in the first season, and it's not so hard to swallow. It's not, the change isn't so hard to swallow like it is for a lot of other shows. So I really enjoyed it. and I actually enjoyed some of the new changes. So, uh, gosh, sorry, I'm trying to remember what are the first 2 episodes and then the last two. But yeah, I really enjoyed the subtle changes that they made to certain things that we'll talk about in the spoiler section. But
Yep.
as an initial impression goes, Taylor, what is your score for the first 2 episodes of this season?
I think for first 2 episodes, I think I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, solid. I'm gonna go 8. Yeah, I don't know, man, because I don't want to like. I don't know. It's still Disney, Like there's still potential for them to mess up. So I'm trying to be unbiased to that.
It is technically Disney, but this is
This is
Dave Filoni.
This is Dave
like
Filoni.
100% Dave Filoni.
You're right. So I'm gonna trust in Dave Filoni, the Lord and Savior of Star Wars.
He hasn't let me down yet.
So I'll agree with a 9, but I am hesitant just barely a little bit because I just whenever Disney has their fingers and stuff, a lot of times it can just take a turn, like it just turn on you, and you're just like, what the hell? What just happened here? So I'll give it a 9, and I'm really excited to see where this season goes, and the progression of guys like Crosshair and his relationship with the rest of the Bad Batch, and there's some other characters that were introduced this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say the names because it's a spoiler, so I don't want to say it. But if we're thinking about the same person that we're thinking about, it's this season, right? What we were just talking about before. Yeah. Okay. So it's going to be exciting, and I think there's going to be a lot of cool things that they could do. The visuals and stuff are still the same. Like everything is still
it looks
great.
I would say it looks better, like even better. Like the lighting and stuff looks a lot better. They're with the progression of time, their like armor and stuff looks a lot different.
Yeah.
They're repainted and stuff, which to be honest, I'm not super enthusiastic about it.
Let's save that for the spoiler side because I want to show it and I want to kind of dissect it because I'm curious to know what you think. So, Taylor gave it a 9. I gave it a 9. Those are your scores, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna dive into spoilers. So everything you guys see from here on is gonna be brand new. So if you have not seen the show, I do recommend that you go watch it.
Yep.
It's only 2 episodes, so it's only about an hour of your time. Actually, it's less than that. The episodes this season are only like 25 minutes long. So
I think as another example for this show, if you are not super into animated things and or Star Wars, one of the two, you might be surprised by this show.
Yeah, I would agree. Especially since I was rewatching the first season. Like if you're just a fan of good storytelling and just a good show, I think this show still holds up.
Yeah.
And the second season is continuing along that path as well. So even if you're not a Star Wars fan, even if you're not an animated person, like for example, my wife, she will not sit through the Clone Wars with me. However, there's a couple times where I was watching the first season and this together, and she would sit there and she'd start asking questions. So I could tell it piqued her interest.
Yeah.
But she wasn't ready to fully dive into it. So I think there's something for everybody in here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back, finish out the video with us. This is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. Let's get into the armor, right? So this is what the new armor looks like. Let's start off with Omega. How do you feel about Omega's quote unquote uniform now?
I really like it. I've actually been waiting for it for a while. Because I've, she's a part of the family now. She's
part of the squad.
Yeah, part of the squad. I thought I was just basically waiting for this. Like it's about time that she finally got her own uniform.
Yeah,
I think it goes well enough with her character for the time being. I imagine it'll change as she grows older and stuff. But I like it.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of the hat to helmet thing. I don't know, it just seems a little out of place with the rest of the like visuals of the squad. You know what I mean?
I get
Like,
that.
she's a
I
little
mean,
out of place.
she's not a clone trooper,
Right.
so
So
she's
I
not
don't
gonna look
expect
the
her.
same. But
I don't expect her to have like a full on helmet, like a closed face full helmet. But I just would have liked to see something a little bit more like blocky or more like a rigid helmet instead of like just a soft cap
yeah,
kind
I
of thing.
gotcha.
You know?
Which I mean, would be cool. Like
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that at all. I just think it fits her character for the time being.
Sure.
It's more of like a
Like a transition kind of.
I want to say like rebel styled, where it's like you
Sure.
can find these items and
Right.
like it's for her not being military. It makes sense for her to have something.
Yeah.
But it would look cool if she had some really nice looking
Yeah.
like almost like General Obi-Wan Kenobi armor, where it's like
Right.
clone
Plated.
armor.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. But maybe that's a future.
Yeah, maybe
Future
as
thing.
she gets older, they'll kind of progress into that. I love her bow. I'm so glad
Dude, her
that
bow was
her bow is
badass.
sick, dude. Like I know that's originally in the first season, but again, ladies and gentlemen, we're probably gonna talk about a few things from the first season just because we never actually covered it uh, on this channel. So, her bow is sick, man.
Yeah, it's
I
not new,
love
but
that
it's just
thing.
so good.
It's so sick. I would love I love blasters, but that thing is sick.
Yeah.
Like that thing is dope. All right, the rest of the squad, they repainted their armor, and there's a kind of a central theme. There's a lot of orange. Everybody has like an orange stripe.
Bright colors.
But yeah, it's just a lot brighter, and I'm guessing that what they were trying to do is kind of have a visual representation of the change in the squad's like outlook, I guess, kind of like like in the first season
they're originally like the kill squad,
Right,
like
exactly.
the elite special forces, and like
but now they're good guys, like
Yeah.
they're the good guys, and they work for a slumlord, but they're still the good guys, so I think that's what they meant to do there. I'm not a gigantic fan of it, but it doesn't make me upset. The only one that I
Yeah.
don't care for at all is Wrecker's armor. I don't care for the yellow at all, and to me it makes Wrecker look like a giant panda bear.
I mean,
that's
he
what it
can
looks
be
like
at
to me.
times.
Sometimes, but
In
like
his
Wrecker
free
is
time.
like I don't know. Wrecker's my favorite. He's my favorite.
I love all of them.
Bad
Wrecker
Batch,
is
but
very funny. He's kind of like the Drax.
yeah, exactly. No, that's a
Mhm.
great comparison. So I'm not a huge fan of the yellow, but like I said, it doesn't detract from that at all. Like when I'm watching them, I'm not sitting there like, oh my god, this armor's so ugly, I can't watch. What
No,
they're
yeah,
doing.
you're right. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not really a fan of it in general because I feel like their whole appeal. Like I know they were like black because they're trying to be like
stealth.
originally like super cool and stealth, whatever. And I just feel like, and I understand why they did it because, like you said, they're just trying to be different,
right,
and change out their image a little bit, and they kind of want to distinguish themselves even more, even though nobody looks like them anyways.
right.
I just feel like to me, it almost feels counterintuitive because now they look more closer to a normal trooper than ever, which I'm not a fan of. I like the fact that they were easily distinguishable and nobody else looked like them.
Right.
The fact that they have colors is not a big deal, but the fact that they added white into it is what I don't like.
That is a fair point, because when they're walking around like on Camino, when they were walking around the facility and stuff, you could tell immediately who they were because they're all clones, so they all kind of look the same, but you could tell that they were not regs. So
yeah, like their uniforms are very different for a reason.
Yeah, so that is a good point, that the white kind of diminishes that, but maybe it'll change as the season goes on and their missions wear and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I don't think it like ultimately detracts.
No, it doesn't.
It's just kind of a
it's
little
just
side thing.
Yeah, it's just a little preference thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about Crosshairs. Oh, I do. I swear I have. No, I do. No,
Nope.
You son of a gun. I swear I saved a picture of Crosshair and Captain Cody. But Crosshair is a subject that I wanted to talk about because he's kind of like he's not really the ultimate villain in the first season because
No, it's
they're
just
yeah, because ultimately the villain is this guy, is this admiral and
yeah,
whatever.
as you would expect in a
Yeah,
Star Wars.
but and Crosshair is his like his guy, his number one guy. But um, in this season, Crosshair is kind of taking on a new role within the Empire. He's no longer really regarded as like the top general, or whatever, because his what happened on Camino and whatnot. But he gets attached to a new like he gets attached to a new unit essentially, right? Because he's old or whatever, and they're not giving him his commander duty back, so they give it to a new character who we see for the first time in this season, and that's Commander Cody.
But he doesn't come in until later, though.
Isn't he in the second episode?
No,
Oh,
he is
oh, when does he come in?
third.
Damn, ultra spoilers.
Yeah,
Ooh. Well,
but
that sucks.
It is dope though.
Since we're on the topic,
All right.
my bad if you haven't watched, but I mean, yeah. So Commander Cody's in here, ladies and gentlemen. I watched all of them back to back, so I have a hard time distinguishing what episode is what. But
yeah, the first two episodes, it's kind of just picking up with the core group of CT-99 and stuff. It doesn't, and the third episode is where it picks up Crosshair's story.
Ah, dang! Because the first episode is when they like are on the water planet with the crabs.
Yeah,
right, and they're taking
they're
stuff
on Tefiti and
and all
and
the
Maui
crabs
comes out and
all the crabs are trying to
so
eat
shiny.
them.
Yeah,
Those crabs messed up the ship.
oh yeah,
Like,
they're huge.
These things were like insane.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was the beginning of Count Dooku's war chest storyline. It actually covers the first two episodes.
Right. It's the beginning and then it finishes
in the second episode. So that's why we were having trouble remembering what happened in the second episode. But it all revolves around the fact that now that Count Dooku is gone, because Anakin Skywalker cut his head off. Now that he's gone, he has all of this, spoils of war and stuff at his home planet, and it's the Empire is shipping it off world because it technically belongs to them. But Sid is like, hey, like we could make a big score right here. Like,
right.
She
Here's
tells
another
them.
job.
She tells them that if they were able to retrieve one case of the spoils, that they could like essentially retire. Like they could stop doing what they're doing and live a normal life. And so they decide to go after it reluctantly because Hunter doesn't want to.
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
Hunter is against it because in his head, he's like, the Empire thinks that they're dead because they think that they died on Camino. And he doesn't want to risk putting them back in the limelight, like potentially exposing them back to the Empire.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, let's just, we don't need to. But then the rest of the crew is like, no, we want to. And then there's also kind of like a side thing of like Omega starts to feel like they are where they're at and they can't live a normal life because of her.
Yeah, she feels like she's a burden.
Right. So they ultimately decide to go to the planet and try to steal some of this stuff, and it goes just like pretty much every other Bad Batch mission goes. Like it's going well in the beginning. Everything
happens.
Yeah, and then something goes wrong, and then they have to figure out a way to fix it, and then they're good. Except for this time, they didn't figure out a way to fix it right off the bat. Like it took a little while. So they're trying to steal stuff. They get separated. Omega and Echo, right? End up in the. Was it her and Echo?
Yeah, I think so.
Was it her, Echo, and Tech? I think it was. Yeah, it was her, Echo, and Tech all still inside the container.
Yeah, and then it's Hunter and
then it's
Wrecker.
Hunter and Wrecker on the outside.
Yeah.
So they get trapped in the container as they're trying to transport it off world, and then Hunter and Wrecker, they have to fight their way through the city, and it's a pretty cool like sequence of events, because it kind of deals like adds in a little bit of lore. Like they talk about how the planet was destroyed by Imperial Star Destroyers, basically, but ultimately they end up in this rural part of the planet, and they run into a local.
Yep.
Who I don't remember the name of, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
And it probably would take me a little while to find it. So.
But they run into this local, and he tries to help them, and he ultimately does. But like we said before, Omega feels like she's a burden, so she takes it upon herself to go after some of the war chests so that they can come out of the job in the positive, right?
Yeah. This whole time too, Tech is hurt. He's injured. Right.
Yeah, he breaks his
That's
femur.
why they kind of are trying to escape, and he's like injured.
Yeah.
And so this new character he also kind of reluctantly like helps them. Yeah. He kind of just wants to mind his own business initially, but he also hates the Empire. So
right.
There's just that initial confusion or, uncertainty between them. And then while they're there in the middle of the night, Omega just sneaks off to try to recoup their losses. And of course gets into trouble.
Yeah.
And then they have to go save her.
Yeah. Yeah, and meanwhile, Hunter and Wrecker, like, they're fighting their way through the city, basically. And Wrecker, they come upon some separatist tanks, and Wrecker turns himself into a tank.
Dude, for real. He literally picks up the cannon and just...
he takes a battery out of one of the tanks and then takes the cannon part of another tank and, like, connects them. And then
he's just like Master Chief walking around, like, blasting everything. And it's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's so funny.
This is kind of what I like about this show is that, like, there's a certain level of unbelievableness that you're willing to just accept because it's Star Wars and whatnot. Yeah. And they don't go over the top because, like, theoretically, I guess it's possible that, they could fabricable together a cannon, a handheld cannon, but it's just funny that it's Wrecker because
of course it's him because he's the biggest dude. Yeah. It's just funny that he puts it together.
Like, I'm a tank. It's so funny.
It's like, you sure are, buddy.
Yeah. And that's how they get out. So it's a pretty cool scene. What I will say for these first two episodes, I like that they tried to do a little bit more of a deeper story. You know what I mean? Like the first season there is an overarching storyline with Crosshair and the Empire and whatnot, but every episode had a story within itself, and it ended within. They had a mission, they accomplished a mission. And then at the start of this new season, they did this thing where it took multiple episodes to finish the mission that they were on.
Yeah.
And I actually really like that. I think it's cool. I think it's a nice change from the first season, so that we're not just watching them autonomously complete missions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that there's a progression.
I like that, this season, it's not was expected, but now at some point, like each character kind of gets a little bit more time.
Right.
And of course Crosshair, like it's been waiting for it to happen because it happened, it's kind of throughout the first season, but I can tell the times are changing for Crosshair.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit because there's not a whole lot more to dissect in the first two episodes. I know I spoiled a little bit of the third episode, and I'm sorry for that. But in the first two episodes, there's not really a whole lot more to talk about. It really just kind of is a good transition between the first season and then what will eventually happen in what you see in the third and fourth episodes. So. And for that reason, it's great. Like, I love it, and I'm excited. But let's talk about the future. Let's talk about what do you think is going to happen with Crosshair? Because, I have a hard time believing that there's redemption in store for him. You know what I mean? Like, I have a hard time believing that he's going to come back to the squad.
I mean, to me, that's funny because like that's all Star Wars does.
No, I know that, and there are signs pointing that way, right? But like, I don't know. I'm just hoping that it's different, and like you said, it is Dave Filoni and not necessarily Disney. So,
So basically, what I'm trying to get at is there will come a day that Crosshair is back with his boys,
hmm.
but today is not that day.
I I'm hoping for a. I'm kind of hoping for him not to. I'm kind of hoping for a situation where I don't want to say like I'm hoping for that the Bad Batch has to take him out, but I'm hoping it's like it's kind of like a mercy kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like because he is obviously things are changing within the Empire. He's outdated as a clone because the Empire's moving away from clones and they're
I
not
wouldn't say
using.
it's outdated.
Well, it's just they're moving away from clones.
Yeah, this
and
isn't that transitional period.
yeah, and he has a very fixed mindset about things, and so I could see a situation where he's hurt or something, and he's not going to make it, but the Bad Batch kind of puts him out of his misery, kind of thing. Like lays him to rest.
I don't think so. I'm not saying that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
I just don't foresee that happening.
I feel like it would be a better ending to the story than
I don't know. I don't really like that much. Like at least for this group of people, I don't know if I would really.
Because I want
like
him
that.
to. What I like the most about Crosshair, like the thing that's so captivating about him is that he's steadfast in his belief. He's steadfast in being a part of the Empire and following orders, and that good soldiers follow orders despite not even having a chip, right? Like that was the big reveal at the end of the first season. So I like that about him, and I want to see that. I want to see him take that to the grave. I want to see him maintain that I don't know if discipline is the right word, but just like I want to see him maintain that aspect of his character all the way through. So that's why I think maybe something like a merciful or restful death is.
But I feel like that
better...
wouldn't fit that theme even within itself. Like that doesn't make sense to me how he can be that kind of person but accept a death like that. That's to me that's counterintuitive because I would be like if I'm going like how you're saying he is currently, he would be fighting to the death. There is no mercy kill. Like his whole thing is following orders and stuff, but he's fucking badass. Like that's his skill, and there's no way he would accept somebody else just be like, oh yeah, just kill me. Like kill me, I'm here.
What I mean more is like his steadfast beliefs of what he should be doing within the Empire get him into trouble within the Empire. Like we even saw it with one of the groups that he led in the first season, right? There's a guy that refused to follow his orders, and then he ended up killing him. But like I could see there being a situation where the roles end up reversed, where his steadfast beliefs cause him to get into trouble per se, and then I'm sure he'll fight to the end and try to finish strong, but ultimately it'll come down to the Bad Batch having to finish it. That makes sense.
Kind of, not really. I feel like I need a very specific thing to understand. Like I kind of understand, but like what could he do to be put in a position for him to go out? Just make something up so I can have an understanding.
I'm trying to in my head. I just like I guess maybe he like is sick of taking orders because he's not being given his rank of commander or whatever back, and then he gets ordered to do something that goes against the initial orders that he got from from the Empire, from the Admiral, whatever, like gets ordered to spare somebody or to, you know, do whatever, and then him and his current commander and squad get into it, and then he goes that like they have this epic battle, and it just happens to be on the same planet as where the Bad Batch is for some reason.
Okay.
Or maybe they're going after the Bad Batch, I don't know, and then like he's injured and wounded, but he's still fighting, and then the Bad Batch come along, they take out everybody else, and then but because of his, you know, his innate feelings, he continues to fight the Bad Batch, and then I don't know, they're in a situation where the only way out of it is to finish him off. And then we see this super dramatic scene of Hunter, you know, finishing him with his wrist knife.
I don't know. I kind of get what you're saying, but I feel like it'd be weird and difficult, especially when you include season 1, because they kind of already gone through this kind of thing.
They had that moment in the training area where he could have killed them all, but
he fought with them.
Yeah, they fought to get out
all
of there.
The other clones and droids, and he's like, because that's when he's like, because the whole time, like Hunter along with the rest of the squad, like they kind of like not disowned him, but they felt, you know, hurt and like somewhat distance from him.
Right.
But he made a point that day that he, you know, like everything that he's doing, even though like it could come off as being, you know, like a bad guy, whatever, he just wanted to prove to them like, look, you were my brothers.
Yeah.
And I'm never gonna like, even though he had the opportunity to like fight them or whatever, probably kill, you know, at least one of them, that he's not gonna do that because it's not what he wants to do. He wants to be back with them.
Yeah. I would have accepted it, or I would have been willing to accept it if it happened at the end of the first season. Like if instead of leaving him on the platform at Camino, that he decided to go with him, and then maybe over the course of the second season, like he's not initially, you know, they're not initially on good terms, but over the course of the second season, they start to rebuild him and reintegrate him back into the squad, and then things do well. Like that would have been cool. But because he continued to choose the Empire and his beliefs at the end of the first season, it's kind of like I don't know, for me, it'd be like, well, fuck, man. All right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of see that, but there's a lot of development that we see later, like after the facts, which
after the second episode.
Yeah, after the second episode, which, you know, we'll get into that next time, but yeah, we'll continue this in the future episode.
Yeah, no, oh shit.
But
did you see that? I pulled the lever and it made me sink.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Yeah, this can be an ongoing conversation for sure. I mean, we don't have to decide it right now.
Obviously, it's not over.
Yeah, so. the season is only 4 episodes, or according to this, 2.5 episodes in. But yeah, so we can talk about it. We'll bring it back up, you know, and maybe we can get some of your guys'
more details later. Yeah,
maybe we can get some of your guys' input on this as well. Like, how do you guys feel about where Crosshair's story is leading, and whether there is an ultimate redemption arc that could finish out, or whether or not it's gonna end in tragedy? You know what I mean?
But in general, though, I love all that dude revolves around the squad. Like it's great to see like new characters that have such a captivating story and like progression,
right?
Different alternating paths and stuff.
And they all have their like intra connections and relationships
with each other.
Yeah, that just slowly pan out.
For example, the little bit that we see at the end of the first season, I love that there's that moment where they're trying to escape, right? And Wrecker's giving Crosshair shit, basically. Right. But Tech comes in, he's like, look, to his defense, that's just who he is. And, and then he's like, why did you stand up for him? And he's like, I'm not, even though I may not believe in what you do,
right,
but I know who you are as a person. So there's no reason to like argue about it or anything or try to change the fact.
And you can even see like, because in the beginning of the first season, there's kind of like a separation between Tech and like Echo and stuff, because Echo is technically a reg, right? And
originally,
and he kind of has a different mindset in a lot of things, and so there's a gap that slowly gets bridged over the course of the first season, and then we can see a lot more interaction between them and emotion between them in the second
as
season.
they like learn to trust each other and all that kind of stuff.
So what I will say is that like we just kind of debated on like how Crosshair's story should end, right? But ultimately I will accept either way, and I will probably like it either way. I just have a different prediction, we'll call it. It's not necessarily like if it doesn't go this way I'm not gonna like it. It's just I predict that it's gonna go this way.
The show's awesome. So
at the end of the day, it's dope, and I'm really looking forward to it. As far as how we'll cover this, do we know how many episodes are going to be in the season? Because the first season was 16 episodes. So I don't really want to do like a first and last if it's going to be 16 episodes, because
it's supposed to be 16 as well.
All right. So maybe what we'll do is a mid-season update, ladies and gentlemen, because the episodes are only like 25 to 30 minutes every week. So it'd be I think it'd be a little too redundant to do an update every week, but maybe we'll do a mid-season update for you guys. We'll talk about
unless something big happens.
Right. Maybe we'll dive into it, but let us know what you guys want to see. If you guys want to see an update every episode, then we'll do that for you. But let us know what you guys would like. Maybe mid-season and then end season, or do you guys want something every week? Let us know down in the comments below. And let us know what you guys think about Crosshair and how his story is going to end. Maybe choose my side.
There's no sides. Except for Dave Filoni's side.
True. I am super thankful for Dave Filoni. So similar to our last episode that we posted about The Last of Us, shout out to Dave Filoni and staying strong with the animated stuff, and being able to continue to produce good content.
Really good. Yeah.
So shout out to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this episode. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for all the love and support and all the watch hours and the views and the subscribers recently. It's incredible, and we constantly say it, but I just want you guys to know that we are grateful and we're super humble that there's 55 of you that follow us, and there's people that watch our videos and comment, and it's incredible, and it's the reason why we do this. So thank you guys. We appreciate you. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye guys.